a lot of our prayers are intercessory. We're always interceding to God. We're asking God for something. And I suppose they're all good things to ask God for. But to what end are we asking these things for? Because whatever we ask God must always be asked in the sense of something that will always help us to come close to God. Because God would not give you something that's detrimental to your salvation. You might choose it in some other way, but God wouldn't give you something that's detrimental to your salvation. And the gospel says, you know, if your son asks, maybe we'll give him a scorpion. No, you won't. And if you, as an earthly parent, know to give your child things that are always safe and good for your child's well-being, then God, our Heavenly Father, will only give us those things that will enable us to come close to Him and help us remain in His love. And that is why sometimes in our prayers we seem to be so frustrated, because we are asking for something in an end in itself. And it doesn't happen. And that is why we end up being frustrated. We prayed so much for this and this is not happening. And what's the purpose of praying for this? So it's important to look at the response of the first reading, where these words are the song of Zechariah. When John the Baptist is born and is about to be named, Zechariah's speech returns, and Zechariah praises God. He praises God for having remembered His mercy towards His people, to Abraham and the forefathers. That God has remembered His covenant, that God has come again to visit His people like the rising of the sun. He's come to visit His people. And the words of Zechariah goes down to say, He swore to Abraham our father to grant us that, free from fear and saved from the hands of our foes, we might serve Him in holiness and justice all the days of our life in His presence. The whole point of being free from all this fear, the fear of the enemy, the fear of this, the fear of that, the whole point of being free from any fear and from every fear gives one the ability then to serve God faithfully and freely. So you see, when we are praying for something, no matter how intense our prayer is, we have to ask the question, for what purpose am I praying this, asking this of God? If I'm praying and asking God to free me from this particular addiction or a particular situation, what is the purpose? What am I going to do? Am I just going to say, wow, that's great, I've given up this now, that's fantastic? What's the purpose? If you're praying so earnestly and asking God to free you from this thing, this place, this person, then it must then lead you to serve God freely in holiness and justice. So next time when we intercede, let us first thank God for the blessings He has already given us in our life. And then we ask God to free us from those things that bind us and prevent us from serving Him alone. And having been freed from these things, from these fears, let us come to serve God in holiness and justice, living all the days of our life in God's presence here on earth, and one day forever and ever. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.